folks. We had a little technical difficulty here, man. We got Ty, we got Jay. Steven can't make it today, and Chris is probably trying to get somebody something in some kind of courtroom right now. I don't know what he's doing, but but folks, man, what's going on, folks?
He's not coming. He's
He's
not
definitely not
coming.
coming.
He might come. He might come.
No. No. And if he does come and if he comes in a suit, I'm going to be pressed. Like I am going to be beside myself.
He's
You
gonna
know how
come in a suit
silly?
in his Auburn flag with him.
No. No, 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 no. The suit is
He's
enough.
definitely going to do the Auburn flag. I
Exactly.
don't see it on YouTube yet. Let me
It's
go
not on
and
YouTube yet.
refresh. I'm looking.
I see it on Nino's channel.
Oh, I don't see it on the SEC Connect channel.
Ah, it should be.
Interesting.
It says, hey, it says we're live. So, hey, we're gonna trust that we're live
Hey,
right now.
we're here.
Yeah, we're here, man. Hey,
We're
look,
live.
Ronnie
and
knows.
proud.
Ronnie knows.
hey, topics for today, man. Over under win totals for the SEC, and also some recruiting updates, man. So let's take a look. Yeah, yes, a frightening truth said, "Yep, you're up on the SEC." So,
Perfect.
all right, cool. Over under totals, man. Let's take a look at a few things. There's gonna be I want to start off, guys, with Auburn. I just want to look at Auburn's schedule. Um, Auburn right now, their over under, folks, is 6.5 wins. 6.5 wins. I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to talk about Auburn's schedule, and we're going to see, is 6.5 good enough for Auburn or what? Let's see.
More than fair.
More than fair. I think so too. Let's share the screen here. All right. You guys see that?
I
Yes, sir.
do.
All right. First game, UMass. That's a dub, right?
Fair. It better be.
We
Or
got
you know what they need to do before you say that? You know what they need to do is like if you lose games like that, you should be demoted like they do in the Premier League in soccer. Just demote you at the end of the season. You can't lose that. That's
you
you.
can't lose that game. You cannot lose that game. Well, okay. First off, let's preface this, like with this. We all know the SEC has 3 baked-in wins every year. Okay. So go ahead and say that they're going to win 3 games. Where did they get the other 4 wins? Right? They're going to beat UMass. They're going to beat Sanford. They're going to beat hopefully New Mexico State as well. So yeah, let's just go through it. UMass dub. Cal. What do you guys think about Cal?
They should be able to win it. I
I
hope they're
think
able
so
to win it.
too. I think so too. Sanford, yes.
Yeah.
And so they go 3-0. Okay. Next game's going to be against the Fighting Aggies, man. Texas A&M. What do you guys think about that one?
It's at A&M.
So
And it's at A&M. Exactly.
So they're going to be riding high with excitement because of 3-0, and everybody there is going to say playoffs, playoffs, just because of those 3 games. It makes no sense to do that, but they're going to. They get demolished by A&M.
Oh, what you think, Ty?
Well, A&M is going to be in a situation where they play Miami the second week. They start off their season with New Mexico, then go into Miami, then Louisiana Monroe, and then they have Auburn. I think it being at Kyle Field is huge. The 12th man is the 12th man,
It
right?
is.
Like they do have a wild environment there. And there's a lot of new at Auburn. I know they just got in Thorne out the transfer portal, but I'm telling you, man, I think when we look at Hugh Freeze and what he does, Robbie Ashford makes the most sense to me from the outside looking in. Thorne has the experience. It's going to be interesting to see. I thought it would have been big if they could have doubled down and gotten Keon Coleman to
Yep.
follow Thorne. He ends up going to Florida State, which that's
Ooh,
another
God.
topic for another day. We need to do an ACC Connect because I'm really starting to get excited about some of these ACC teams, and I know I'm
They're
probably alone on that. I think they lose to A&M. I think A&M is embarrassed. I think A&M sees Auburn as a sign to start off their SEC schedule in 2023 with a bang, and I think it's necessary for Texas A&M. This is a massive year for A&M. Not that I think that they'll fire Jimbo because of that massive contract
contract.
he got, but they'll look silly. right? Like it's just about pride, and we all know these are very prideful people making these decisions. And if they go out there and repeat the season they just had, they're gonna feel silly. So A&M, I think, takes down Auburn.
I am I'm not an Aggie hater. I like A&M's I think they got an opportunity to
Please.
be halfway decent this year. But what I will say is, how is the Bobby Petrino experiment going to be at A&M? That is the $1 million question right
No,
there.
fair. That's fair.
That's the only thing I care about. That's the only thing I
Yeah.
care about at A&M. I want to see
How is
how this works out with two narcissistic people trying to work together.
Yeah, how does the Bobby Petrino experiment work? And do I trust Bobby Petrino and Jimbo Fisher on the offensive side more than I trust Hugh Freeze? I don't think so. But Jimbo has recruited at such a high level, even though he's had a lot of players leave. We get it. But even the players that stayed, they are some elite talent. He has elite talent that is
That
staying.
defensive line is still nutty.
It's crazy, man. You got the defensive line
absurd.
that is nutty. You know, even getting David Hicks to come in there. You got Ruben Owens on the offensive side of the ball as well. A decent offensive line. Connor still your quarterback, who I think is going to be a really good player. Evan Stewart still there.
And
They
Moose
brought back
Muhammad.
Moose Muhammad. They brought back all their wide receivers with the exception of Smith, right? So they're going to be just fine, I think, on the offensive side of the ball, skill position wise. But yeah, you know what? I give it to you guys. I think A&M gets it too. So I'm gonna say A&M gets it. They're 3-1 right now, right?
Yep.
Georgia.
So
I think-
Frightening made a great point. We should go ahead and
What'd you
just
say?
skip the next two games and just say 3-3.
all right, 3.
I don't even
I'm
see a
with you.
point.
Yeah, I'm with you. Georgia's gonna demolish them. LSU's
Georgia's
gonna
going
beat them. Yeah, LSU. But you know, my only thing about LSU is BK going to be able to have one of those years where he doesn't have that F up game? He always has that one game every season where we're just like, what the hell are you doing? Right? Auburn could be one of those games where he does slip, but I still think LSU takes that game.
So,
So
with
3-3.
that, with that, I normally agree, especially when he was at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But I don't see it with the recruits he's bringing into LSU this time. I think that talent can overcome the coaching this time around. And
Yeah.
so this season, LSU beats their tail. Next season, though, Hugh Freeze has proven that he knows how to coach in the SEC. And he
Yes.
knows how to get the right players in. I'm curious to see, and we'll have this probably as another topic, and Ty, we talked about this ad nauseum, the way that Colorado has done that massive exodus and refresh that they're doing right now with 70 plus players leaving and bringing in roughly 50, it feels like at this point. I wonder if Auburn sees that and then tries to refresh themselves a little bit in a similar capacity, maybe not 70, but closer to 50 next season after Hugh Freeze really sees what he's got to work with.
Yeah.
Alton McCaskill for Colorado made 47 transfer portal additions yesterday, and they're
See?
still
There you go.
after,
They got a lot of players coming too.
and
Like,
21 out of the recruiting class. So they're at 68 right there
yeah,
in new
they're
scholarships.
they're that refresh. That refresh is a
It's
great
wild.
experiment. It's a great experiment to see if
If it's going to work.
this is what we see. Well, one, if it works. Two, if we see this going forward, when you see bigger name coaches take jobs at other programs and try to bring in their guys. I'm
But if-
curious to see how many can do that.
If I may, Jay, I don't know if you stayed around earlier for, and I launched a new show, another one, Through the Haze, which is going to air multiple times a week. The live stream is still going to do what it does Friday evenings, Monday evenings, but Through the Haze is going to be the weekly show. And today I did a segment talking about, can you revamp your team through the transfer portal? Truly.
I was listening
Yeah.
to you while I was driving. So yes.
So I think the case study we all point to is Michigan State, where
Yeah.
2020 during the quarantine year. Don't want to say the other
Yeah.
thing just because YouTube ad revenue will nuke you. They didn't have a full season. They were 2-5. The next year, massive turnaround with the transfer portal. But then we look at Michigan State this past year, and it wasn't good, and they're losing players. Now, I don't know that that's necessarily a fair representation of building your team through the transfer portal because it's such a low sample size right now that I don't feel like it's completely genuine to point to one team and be like, they didn't do it, so therefore nobody can. But then I brought our attention to another team, and that's LSU. What Brian Kelly did in the transfer portal last year, guys, was really impressive, and we don't talk about it a whole lot. Look at it like this. When we look at some of the guys they got that really contributed, you have the obvious one, Jaden Daniels. They got Jarek Bernard Converse from Oklahoma State, Seven Banks from Ohio State. He suffered an injury real early, I think game 1 of the season for LSU, but the point still stands. They got an impact player. Had he not gotten hurt, he would have been an impact player. They had Mekhi Wingo from Missouri, and that was big because Mason Smith, who I thought had a chance to be the best defensive player LSU had, this is before I saw Harold Perkins, right? And that guy is unbelievable.
Steroids, something. Good Lord.
That's
Monster.
natural, man. He's naturally so gifted, it's unbelievable. But now LSU's going to have Mason Smith and Harold Perkins and Mekhi Wingo. They got Noah Kane from Penn State and Kyron Lacey.
And hold on. They just got Logan Diggs too from Notre Dame, who had a hell of a season this year.
Sure. No. But I'm pointing to the fact of how you can build, and this was what they got last year. And look at what LSU was able to do this year in the season. So, we can point to LSU. USC is another example of what you can do out the transfer portal. And so I am very interested, Jay, to your point about what Auburn can do in the transfer portal. But the thing that hurts me with Auburn is they have what they have now. I don't think is enough to go to Kyle Field, to Death Valley, right? No. And be like, yeah, we're going to take on the Aggies with the talent they have, or the Tigers with the talent I think they're going to get mollywopped, to put it nicely.
So let me add to that, Ty. I think one team you did forget about that really goes to the case of the conversation we're having is Ole Miss. Remember,
very true.
Before Lane Kiffin got there, they were so when they had Matt Luke 6-6, 5-7, 4-8, and then Lane came in 5-5 during the the 2022 year of staying at home. But he was the number one team out of that portal that next cycle. They went 10-3.
Sure did.
They did.
And they stayed pretty consistent since.
And then they went 8-5 the next year because they started losing players and new players coming in. They had new quarterbacks set up, Matt Corral. Because that's the one thing, if anything, like you mentioned about Lincoln Riley going to USC, is he took his quarterback, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
Yeah.
That seems to be the one thing that makes the biggest difference on how a team performs after living in the portal for a year. Like everybody else, a lot of other schools have done that, but the ones that have a quarterback that's borderline transcendent, you start to see, they're going to still compete. Because Matt Corral, Jeff Lebby did a great job of building him up to where, hell, he got drafted in the first round.
He got drafted. Was the third round, right? It was a third round pick. Yeah.
You want to know the only reason I didn't really talk about Ole Miss?
Mm-hmm.
And this is almost a little bit disingenuous on my part, but one, time constraint. Two, because I think Ole Miss is a example to me of a double-edged sword. Because Jay, you're right. We can talk about what happened, but then we can also look at Ole Miss being the number 2 ranked team in the portal, or number 3. I think it was USC, LSU, and then Ole Miss, or was it USC, Ole Miss, LSU?
I think it was USC, Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's what I think too, Jay. I think
I'm gonna look it up right now.
So here's the thing: USC. Unbelievable season. They improved. LSU improved. Ole Miss got worse than they were.
Just like Mississippi State. I mean, sorry, Michigan State.
Just like Michigan State. Yes.
And it was more of a. This is where the question.
Yes,
but this is where the question comes into play on this is, can you build a team living only in the transfer portal? And I think Michigan State and Ole Miss shows no, you can't.
Exactly.
USC is the litmus test on if you can recruit players and go in the portal. Because that was the problem. Yeah, that's the problem.
That's
Ole Miss
a winning
and
combination.
Michigan State were doing terrible in recruiting.
Yeah.
But they did good in getting portal guys. So I'm curious to see, and Oregon's going to be another good test. What does it look like when you're actually recruiting potentially top 15 classes? Does that foundation with, like you mentioned, a Band-Aid of transfer portal players, does that lead to long-term success? And honestly, I think it can.
I feel very strongly about that. I really put a lot of thought into that. I think the best use of the portal is how, and granted, I'm going to give you extreme examples, but Georgia, right? Look at even LSU's a little bit different because of what they came into getting a new head coach. But you look at LSU this year, they're not taking 20 guys out the transfer portal, right? You look at
Exactly.
Alabama,
Cherry-picking.
they're taking 5. You look at Georgia, they're taking a very selective amount because they're able to do the work in recruiting to get them to the point where they don't feel like they need that Band-Aid. I know we got way off topic. And I'm
No,
sorry,
no,
but that's
this
the
is
beautiful
perfect.
thing about this.
Yeah, nah, look, guys, this isn't a scripted, conversation, folks. So once you hear us talking, this is just off the dome, folks. We were talking football. This is what we love doing. But look, Jay, I'm with you. To be successful, you have to have that recruiting base there because the portal guys are going to come in and want to play, right? But you got to be able to have those guys who are coming in from those classes that are getting recruited to be your foundation, to be developed, so that once those portal guys are gone after that year or two and they go to the league or they're out of school, then you have developed some guys behind them to end up eventually taking their spot. You can't live strictly out of the portal. That's why I'm very interested to see exactly how Deion Sanders is going to do. I know this is going to be really off topic. I'm really interested to see how Prime's going to do
Same.
because he is living in the portal. The thing with Deion, we just said about if you have a transcendent quarterback, it eases things. Is his son a transcendent quarterback? I don't think he's transcendent. I think he's really good. I don't think he's
I think
transcendent.
he's good enough.
Yeah, I think he's really
I think he's good enough.
Yeah, but definitely.
That
But-
Sean Lewis system is going to be so much.
It's going to be a
fun
lot of
watch.
fun.
Yeah.
And especially in that high altitude. Oh my goodness, it's going to
With
be
Brett
so much
Bardalone
fun
as
to
the
watch.
offense or the wide receiver coach, I'm interested to see if they almost play off of each other because Bardalone's offense at JSU was really effective.
It was very,
was.
very effective. Very effective. So,
So
yeah, portal.
back to our fun people here at Auburn and whatnot. I am there. We're in lockstep, which I love. That's why I love working with you all. So
Yeah, man. Ole Miss.
This is a toss-up to me, and I'll explain to you why. I have no idea what the quarterback situation is going to look
Exactly.
like there because you can't tell me. And I said this earlier today. I hate to reference Through the Haze again, but I'm going to do it. To end
Continue,
the Through the
yeah.
Haze segment,
Better plug it, man.
I don't know, Jay, if you heard this because this was when I was going for a while at this point. But when I was talking about like how you evaluate your teams, to me, it's about like a box, right? There are questions and then there are answers. And the portal recruiting, they can help you present answers. Depth, that can help you theory craft answers that you won't necessarily know until the season gets here, but you feel good. Let me give you an example for Alabama first. That way, in case an Ole Miss fan stumbles upon this, they don't think I'm hating on Ole Miss because I'll give you my team first. I can give you answers for what Alabama did in the portal. The DBs, that makes complete sense to me. The linebacker, that makes complete sense to me. The quarterback, though I wasn't surprised because of what Nick Saban said, you cannot look at me and say that presents an answer. There's never a college football team that gets a quarterback in the transfer portal at the end of spring and feels like, yes, I answered a question. No, you just created more questions. By that logic, Ole Miss does not have the talent that Alabama has stock pooled. And how many quarterbacks do they have? 3. There's a saying, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't
Yeah,
have any quarterbacks. What the
exactly.
hell happens if you have 3?
Yeah. Hey, I got
especially
Auburn.
when they're all the same class.
I got Auburn winning this game. I just think
It's
Hugh Freeze is a better coach overall. He's a better head coach, in my opinion, than Lane is. And maybe I'm gonna take some flack for that. I think Hugh Freeze is just a better head coach than Lane is.
You know, it's crazy. I think Lane, and I'm going to use the football terms here,
Go ahead.
right?
Go
I think
ahead.
Lane has a higher ceiling, but Lane
Yes.
is like, Lane likes
the
to
lowest
have
floor
fun.
of all.
Yeah. Is he serious enough to
Yes.
to utilize the talent that he has as a coach to catapult himself to be one of the best coaches in college football? That's
me
the
ask
question
this
with Lane
then.
Kiffin.
Then the question you have to ask yourself on that is, and with the Hugh Freeze situation, as he's done a lot of questionable things ethically,
But on
as
the
Lane
field,
likes to
no.
party, he just does wild stuff
Yeah.
to get himself caught up. Which one of these degenerates are going to do the worst against the other is really what you have to ask yourself at this point. Now, I can see Lane Kiffin pulling this out, but Ty, you're right. I don't know who their quarterback's going to be. They got Jackson Dart, who was supposed to have been it. I mean, hell, we wanted him at Oklahoma just to have additional depth, but he didn't really look like he was going to really run things. And they brought in Spencer Sanders.
Walker Howard from
yes,
LSU,
and then-
the former
and
And then
five-star.
Walker
LSU's
Howard.
quarterback Walker pulled up He pulled up
Yeah.
at the party right afterwards. And so, like you said, they got 3 quarterbacks. We don't know which one's going to do. I'm wondering, is this going to be the demise of the Lane train? I wonder if this is the season he falls. And we'll talk about them more when we get to their over-unders. But I'm wondering, are we starting to see that if Nick Saban was keeping him from imploding?
Yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question.
That has always been my take on him is Pete Carroll, Nick Saban kept him from imploding at his job.
Yeah.
And now that he's by himself, I'm really curious to if he can do it himself.
So I think what you're saying here, Jay, is Lane needs an overseer. He is more effective when he has somebody who he respects in the room, whether it is a Nick Saban or a Pete Carroll. I remember times when Lane was the OC at Bama, and he would try to run something elaborate, and seeing Nick Saban say, "Run the ball."
Oh, I got a great story for you. I got a great story for you there. It's one of my favorites. Because people think Saban's miserable, right? And then they're surprised when his players love him. Saban is a player's coach at heart. He just appears miserable and grumpy on the outside, but you listen to the guys, they love him. And a great example of this is one time, y'all will know exactly the rant I'm talking about, because it's the one where Saban took off his headset and paced back and forth in front of Hugh Freeze, screaming. Hugh Freeze did exactly what Nino said, drew up something silly.
Lane Kiffin
Drew up something silly, right?
There
was a fumble. Lane says, as Nick is walking by, and Nick's like, "We should have just kept it simple." Lane says something to the effect of, "Dumb players will make dumb plays." And that's when Saban ripped off the headset and said, "No, dumbass offensive coordinators will call dumb plays," and laid into him.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
ripped him.
Don't blame it on the kids, man. Don't blame it on the kids, man. Yeah, but look, I got Auburn beating Ole Miss, man. I honestly think Hugh Freeze is a better overall coach than Lane Kiffin is on the field. I don't care what he does off the field. Him on the field with lesser talent in different places has done great things. We saw what he did at Ole Miss, folks. And I understand about the recruiting and everything. People want to talk about the violations. I get it. But that happens everywhere, and people don't think that happens at every other school. Then you're kidding yourself. He just got caught. Okay? He was absurd with it, very out there with it, and he got caught, folks. It is what it is. We have stories. We all here on this channel have stories of different schools and what they have done in the past that haven't gotten caught, right? So he just got caught up. He did great at Liberty to the point where he got a quarterback who just had somebody else drafted to replace him. He got him drafted in the second round last year and was going to be a first-round pick last year, Willis, right? So he has a great offensive scheme that is going to do great things in the conference, and I got him beating Lane Kiffin next year. I got him beating him. Yeah, I got him 4-3.
I agree.
Okay,
I actually do.
Let's go with it.
All right, Mississippi State. I got Auburn.
Ty, go ahead.
For me. So here's the thing. I don't know what Mississippi State is going to be this year, right?
Yeah.
And it's very hard for me to project this because Arnett is the head coach, right,
Yep.
going into this year. He's a defensive-minded guy.
Yep.
You're talking a polar opposite shift. Now, I really like their quarterback, Will Rogers. He has done nothing but put up huge numbers for Mississippi State. But look, this is one, and it's so unfortunate because RIP to the legend. But if he was around this year, I would tell you I think Mississippi State wins this game. I just think that it's a battle of offensive minds, and he has more continuity, and he's got Zach Arnett. I just think there's so much new going to be happening for Mississippi State. This is a very real chance Auburn gets 2 in a row.
I can
Jay, how
see
about
that
you?
too. That was my mindset is you got a new coach, the new offensive coordinator, Kevin Barbay, just came here from Appalachian
good.
State.
He's
Very
good.
And he's good. His teams put up numbers, but at Appalachian State. So I'm curious to see if they can get Will Rogers up to speed quickly in an entire new system and everybody around them works together well. I don't know. Just like you said, Todd, that is the one thing that's holding me up on this one. If anything, I got to give it to Auburn because I feel like even though both of them are coming in with entirely new systems, I do believe that Hugh Freeze will make it a lot easier for his players than probably Barbie will be because he's going to be having to he's got to set his own tone coming in. He's replacing a legend when it comes to play calling. And so if you want to put your own mark in there, his entirely new system, the question is, can these players get up to speed fast enough for it? And I don't know. I think Auburn has a better chance because I know Hugh Freeze is going to keep it simple year one, and then they're going to go ahead. And I think they have a little bit more talent in comparison. So I'm going to go with Auburn too.
Yeah, and also just talking about, Barbe's system is very balanced. If you go back and look at his system, he runs a very balanced air raid, and he runs the ball very well, which is something that the Pirate didn't do. He didn't run the ball pretty much at all. All right, so do
they have the personnel?
That's the thing. Does Kevin Barbay have the personnel in place to run the ball effectively and efficiently in the SEC? I don't know if that's the case. That's why I am also going with Auburn. So we got Auburn now. What 5-3?
Yeah, 5-3.
5-3. Vanderbilt, Auburn. Okay, 6-3.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
I knew it was coming. I knew he was going to hit us with the "hear me out."
Hear me out. I'm just saying, you don't know how much I wish I could give you a principled argument that y'all know me. I'm fine with giving a hot take if I feel like I can actually debate my way into a hot take. I can't. I got nothing for you. I got nothing.
So hear me out on this one then.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Vanderbilt might shock some people next season.
They weren't garbage last year. They weren't garbage at all last year. They were competitive.
Yep.
How did you just say?
They were competitive.
We're talking about the same. Hold on, my internet's busted. Hold on, guys.
Oh,
There's no way. Is this the same Vanderbilt that said they were going to teach Alabama how to play SEC football and then got smoked in their own house?
But that's against Bama. That's
now this is why I say that.
Great moments in SEC.
Remember, Clark Lee pulled up. They were 2-10 his first year, 0-8 in the SEC.
Yeah.
Year 2, 5-7, 2-6 in the SEC. Can he pull a James Franklin and get them a winning record his third year in?
He has the potential, but I don't think they're beating Auburn this year.
Oh, new coach compared to a coach that's been there for 2 years.
But is Hugh Freeze really a new coach? He's a new coach at Auburn. I trust. If I am Auburn or any SEC team, I trust Hugh Freeze. I think Hugh Freeze is gonna fit in just fine there. Auburn has talent
disagree.
there.
I don't disagree with you there, but the only thing I do disagree with is that we all know that Auburn is typically a dumpster fire overall, operationally. That has always been their issue for the last 20-something years. They've got issues operationally.
Then Hugh Freeze is going to fit in perfect there.
Right, he fit in perfect.
That's the
that
problem.
Doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that their dumpster fire is going to go out. So I don't think Vanderbilt wins, but I think they keep it closer than we expect.
You want to know why I give the edge to Auburn here?
Go ahead.
Because I have more faith in Hugh Freeze being able to do work with a Robbie Ashford than I have faith in Vanderbilt and the Commodores being able to do work with AJ Swan.
Okay,
that's fair. With that. I just think
that, yeah.
6-3
so far. Wow.
So their win
you just wait until I tell you
half?
how they're going to get upset by New Mexico State.
Child, please. All right, Arkansas. This was tough for me. This one is tough for me.
This one is tough.
This is a coach for your job game
for Sam Pittman.
He has to win this game.
I hate to agree with you, but I do.
And I am a Sam Pittman fan. I like some Sam Pittman.
he's perfect for Arkansas, but he is coaching for his job. They're not
Yeah.
going to deal with these type of L's anymore. They're not going to deal with them losing in the SEC, even though Arkansas has been the doormat of the SEC their entire existence. They're not going to accept it. He has to win.
He has to win, but it
They
so
lost a
much is
lot.
going to ride on the shoulders of KJ Jefferson, man.
Yeah.
And it's is he that guy? Is he that guy?
I think he is, but I think when we look at this, they lose Bumper Pool. They lose Drew Sanders. They don't have Catalan anymore. Granted, they didn't have Catalan all last year
2
because he
years.
was injured,
Yeah.
but like whenever he was playing, he was transcended for them. Let's be very honest here. If he came back healthy, he was going to be the starting safety for Arkansas. And so no, I'm right there with you because I love the Razorbacks. I'm so excited. I've been so excited for what they've been able to do. And they were a team that quarantine year played Bama really well, actually.
Yeah.
Defensively held Bama to one of the better games anybody did that year. The problem is it's almost been regression every single year since. Now we look at this. Who are their wide receivers?
Who are they?
Who are the defense?
Young.
Like
Their problem is they got young wide receivers,
Love the running
redshirt
back room.
sophomores and sophomores, and good running backs. Their offensive line is juniors and seniors.
yeah, that's good.
This was great.
That helps a lot, and they
Yeah.
got a couple of. I think it got 2 that are super seniors.
But are they good?
So
That's the thing. Are they good?
they've been there for a long time.
Now you're asking the questions we don't need to ask.
Because one can argue if this is your 6th year as an offensive lineman in the SEC, you've done something wrong.
That's messed up. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah,
I'm just saying.
that's messed up. Yeah, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong at all. That's not NFL caliber. So you got a good point.
I'm just saying. But
Their running back went for over 1,400 last year. 6.5. I mean, he's a beast.
Raheem Sanders.
Yeah,
he is
beast.
good. He is good. My only thing with Arkansas is I got to go back and look at their schedule from last year, just to see how they wore out throughout the year. Right? Did they start off fast and then die out? If that was the case, it's because they don't have the depth. Arkansas just doesn't have the depth that these top line teams do. They got solid, really good guys that like that start, but when a Jalen Catalan gets hurt, who fills in for you, right? And there is a significant drop off on that defense last year. When you lose a Drew Sanders, who's behind them? I mean, when you lose a bump, who's behind them, right? And so it's that's the difference between teams like your Georgias and your Bamas, and now we're starting to see Tennessee is built this way too as well. They have so
And
much
as bad,
depth. Yeah.
and as bad as Arkansas was going down the stretch, they did beat Auburn 41-27 in Auburn.
Yeah.
Back-to-back road games. They beat BYU and BYU.
They
Then they
did.
beat Auburn at home. But
That's
they
the
lost to
frustrating
Hugh
thing about
Freeze. They
Arkansas.
lost to
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze in Liberty the next week.
Oh, there we go.
That's the thing
Auburn
that
it
doesn't make
is.
any sense about
Auburn
Arkansas.
it is. I got Auburn winning the game, damn it. They lost to Hugh Freeze at Liberty. I got
No, the thing with Arkansas, guys, and I'm so excited for Texas to be in the SEC, because you'll see it. You don't know what Arkansas team you're going to get on any given, they are
Exactly.
a wild card.
always have been.
You can't count
So
them
every
out,
game,
but
Back from the Matt
every
Jones
loss.
years.
no way. No way.
What?
Every loss besides that Alabama Mississippi back-to-back ass kickings were 3 points or less.
this is my point about
LSU was
Arkansas.
13-10.
Both.
Missouri was 29-27. Liberty was 21-19. And then Texas A&M was 23-21. Every game was close.
So how about this?
This is a game now. This is
This
an
is-
interesting one.
This is interesting.
Where are they at?
They were in one possession of winning a game, right? Basically a field goal of winning the game. Did they get better after last year,
I agree.
or did they not?
That's a good question.
So here's the thing. Let me look up one player. If he's here. Okay. Yeah, they lose a lot, boys.
Yeah.
They lose
Exactly.
their starting wide. Their let me look at this again because there's no way I just read this right. Hold on. I'm sorry about the awkward, but there's no way this is correct.
Who?
Jaden Hazelwood's not there anymore, is he?
No, he's
Oh
not.
yeah,
No.
he went to the draft.
Yeah,
but they
he's gone.
did pick up Tyrone Broden, the 6'7" giant from Bowling Green.
That's a great pickup, and good
I remember him.
God they need it because they lose Matt Landers, who went for 900 yards. They lose Jaden Hazelwood, who went for 700 yards. Do you know who the next highest in receiving yards is for the Razorbacks?
Who's that? The running back?
Trey Knox with 296 yards. That's what's left.
Yeah.
So,
So he's throwing a new wide receivers. I mean, I think
Yeah.
So they
Broden's going to be the big name that's going to probably jump out next season. But yeah,
yeah, so they didn't get better. Yeah,
True,
that's the
good.
thing.
That's good.
Man, I'm gonna go with Auburn in this game.
That I want to say Arkansas. Wait, how many wins are we at for Auburn right now?
We're at
Because
6
that's
and
going
3
to
right
determine
now.
my answer. Okay,
We're
no,
at-
Arkansas.
Yeah, we're at 6
Wow.
and 3. I got Auburn over Arkansas.
I've got Arkansas over Auburn.
How about you, Ty? You're the tiebreaker.
So, how many wins have we given Auburn so far?
6 and 3 right now.
Nah, that's a loss then. That's a loss.
Okay,
Can't
6 and
have that.
4.
No,
All right.
so I hate it, but I am going to give this to Auburn. I just
Oh, okay. So 7 and 3.
The 7-3
I'm
then. Okay.
worried about what they lost, guys. I think it's easy for us to sit here. I love KJ Jefferson, new wide receivers. That was a question we had going in for this year. And the defense already was one of the worst in college football at stopping the pass. And they
Yeah.
lose their 2 linebackers.
Yep. I mean,
The 3 running backs are all back this season though. So
Which
with
is a plus.
Sanders at 1,400 yards, you got AJ Green at 400 yards, and then Rashad
You know what? No, I'm picking
W.
Arkansas.
at
okay, so
293.
Arkansas is 6 and 4. And you know what though? I think I can come back off that too. Thinking about that offensive line, you know, I didn't make my
They ran the ball good. So
They
the
did
line
run
was
the
good
ball
enough to give him
well.
some yards.
And KJ Jefferson was one of the top rushers as well. So his ability to be a factor in the running
Yep,
game is
600
going to create
yards.
havoc for
Okay,
that Auburn
Arkansas.
defense.
Arkansas. You guys convinced me.
Yes.
You guys convinced me. Arky,
Yes.
I think it is. I think their offensive line is going to be, if they're bringing back their offensive line this year, a lot of seniors and super seniors on that line, they should be a well-oiled machine. Continuity is going to be there. You already got really good rushers here. Like you said, 1,400-yard rusher. KJ can run the ball, also. It's just a passing game. My only thing that worries me is when they stack the box to stop the run, who do you have to bail you out? That's my only thing, but I will go-
6'7" Tyrone Broden, baby. Just throw it up to the giant, man. Just let his big butt jump up. Yeah.
Which, you know what, though? This is really a good thing for them, though, because I equate this to when I look at the NFL, right? Jalen Hurts. Okay? What did Philly do for Jalen Hurts? They go and get A.J. Brown.
Yep.
They go and get a guy who has a catch radius that is huge, to where he doesn't have to be the most accurate quarterback to get him the ball. I just got to get it in your vicinity. And if I get it in your vicinity, I know that you're going to have an opportunity to get the ball. Now, Jalen has vastly improved as a passer. He was one of the best passers in the league this year. I'm not saying KJ is going to be that. But what they have done is you get somebody a 6'7" wide receiver with a hell of a catch radius. I just need my quarterback to get the ball in his vicinity and just give him a shot. I like that pickup. I'm glad you mentioned that, Jay. I'm going with Arky too. Arky it is 6 and 4.
All right.
6 and 4. All right.
6
And
and
give me a
4.
little bit of time. I'm doing some research on how I can argue New Mexico State winning.
You're not
this
going to
game.
be able to do it.
And it's not looking good, boys. Their leading running back was 500 yards. Their leading wide receiver was 400 yards. It's not looking good. Number 82 in the nation in offense, number 47 in defense. I'm not liking much.
There you go. So I think we're all agree Auburn beats
Shoot,
the
Auburn's
next
going to
team.
make a bowl game.
New Mexico State. They are 7 and 4 right now. And the last game
We
of
can
the
skip the
season
last one.
is the Iron Bowl. And hey, Ty
You
will
want to know
tell
the
you.
only thing that scares me?
Ty will tell you. What's up,
It's-
Ty?
At Jordan Hare.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That stadium
And
is cursed.
yep. And they hired Hugh Freeze for one reason. Because he's beaten Nick Saban.
That's
I
true.
think Bama wins. Don't get me wrong. I just think there's nothing in the cupboard for Auburn.
Yeah, they are playing at Auburn.
But the thing is like that place is cursed. I'm
is,
not joking. It is
some of the
like-
worst Auburn teams I've seen have come out with either a W against Alabama or have played them so competitively that you would have thought Auburn should have won the game. I mean,
Not even just Bama. Think back to what they did to Georgia a few years ago in
That's
Jordan
true.
with the freaky catch that bounced off of someone's helmet. Like
Yep,
weird
helmet and
stuff
goals.
happens
Exactly.
in that stadium.
Exactly. But Bama's going to win.
Yes, I think the cupboards are way too low for Auburn to where
Yeah.
they can throw everything at the kitchen sink, and it's just not going to be enough this year. Now,
Yep.
Jay, you've said it, and I hate to admit it, but let's be honest, it'd be facetious not to agree. They did hire someone that has been able to have success against Nick Saban.
That's true.
Now, I think, whether or not there's been an evolution, we'll find out, but it's going to be a lot of fun. But Bama wins that game, but God, I'm very happy that year 2 with Hugh Freeze is in Tuscaloosa. I would much rather have year 1 when they have an empty cupboard in Jordan Hare than have year 1 when they have an empty cupboard in Tuscaloosa and year 2 once they've been able to reload in Jordan Hare.
Exactly.
That I'm happy about that.
Exactly.
So
we got them going 7-5, folks.
That's
the
an over.
Under was 6.5. We got them going 7-5.
Nail the under. Wait, sorry. I'm sorry. Old habits.
So,
Yeah, frightening. The council agrees. We're
The
going to go
council
with 7 and
agrees.
5, and we're going to go with the
7-5
over.
It is. There it goes. Over 7-5. I think that's realistic for them. I do.
It feels wrong.
They got 3 baked-in wins. They got 4 baked-in wins. I reckon.
They really
gotta win
do.
3
They have a
conference games.
favorable schedule
Yeah.
in terms of up front. New Mexico State before Bama. That you love that if you're an Auburn fan.
Yeah. To get
Yeah.
some rest. You get the beat up on the team, get some rest. But, Bama also probably plays the Citadel or somebody the game before Auburn. So it is
Don't
what
you
it is.
talk about the Citadel like that. That's a respectable football institution. A
I knew you were
respectable football institution.
Respectable, huh? Wow, I love the defense of the Citadel. That is
I gotta-
awesome.
I actually have a couple friends that played at the Citadel, so they're probably listening.
And it's not
like,
the
"Shut up,
Citadel,
Nick."
it's Chattanooga. Thank you very much.
Even, yeah.
At least the
And
Citadel played
even
you
more
guys tough.
respectable.
Yeah,
football
there you go.
institution.
So okay, 7-5. 7-5. We got it. 7-5. We got them over the 6.5 line that is there. Man,
Yeah, it didn't feel right, Truth. It felt icky.
Felt so wrong.
James Ty, put some respect on that. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yep.
so
Oh my gosh.
So fellas, I want to talk about let me get out the screen up here. Let's stop sharing here. I want to talk
Pick another
about
team.
yeah. Another team. Let me get another team. Let's pull up let's see. Who you guys want to go with?
Ooh,
I don't
ooh. Let me give you one.
Who?
Since we did Auburn, let's just have fun with this and go right to Arkansas.
Arky. All right.
That's a good
Arkansas
one.
it
That's
is.
a really good one.
And
Arkansas.
only I say that is because the win totals in the SEC this year is fascinating. There's 3 teams with 7.5, and then like 5 teams at 6.5, and that's it. And then it's like a massive drop off to 5.5 and then 3.5, which
right.
is even more. We definitely got to do another episode where we go full deep in on Florida because
Oh, Florida.
Them at
I
5.5.
think we did Florida already. Didn't we do? Yeah. We did Florida a couple weeks ago, but I want to deep dive into that one.
No, I
Yeah,
think
'cause
what
that
we
win
do
total
is
is-
we pick 3 teams per week.
Yeah, and
I
just
love
knock
it.
them
and,
out.
and a deep dive. That way, it's those 3
Yeah.
teams get an hour and a half of dedicated time.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
think so.
Yeah, I like
now,
that. So we got
frightening,
Auburn
you
today.
asked the question about math wise. There was one year that the SEC had every team, I think it was like 21. Every team was basically bowl eligible, but I think one
Vandy.
was weird.
And it might not have
And
been Vandy
honestly,
that
I don't
year.
know if it was Vandy. I don't
It
know
might
if
have
it
been
was Vandy that
Kentucky.
year.
It might have been Kentucky or Missouri, probably.
No, we just
was
naturally
Vandy.
slotted.
It was Vandy. It was Vandy. It was Vandy.
Who do y'all think?
Everybody was bowl eligible, but Vandy.
Yeah, the 3 out of conference really helped frightening. Which it is 4, yeah.
4 out of conference, frightening.
All right. Let's
All right. Let's do Arkansas. Arkansas, folks. Western Carolina. Okay, Arky's gonna win.
I'm gonna have to hop off here in a bit. Can I run through this real fast?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So look, 2 wins off the back.
Yep.
Sean Lewis is not at Kent State anymore. He was a whiz for them, and he took some very good players with him. Savion Washington's a 6'8" offensive lineman.
Oh my God.
And he's now with Colorado. I thought that was a great addition. I look, Kent State has been a proud school. Like, they've been good in football for a while, right?
Yep.
I'm not saying they've been the best, but like Kent State is one of those teams where they will ruin your day if you let them, if you look over them. But that's
They're
not
usually
happening.
ranked very high in the offensive rating
Yes.
just about every
Every
year.
year.
That Sean
They played
was
Georgia
there.
pretty tough. You know, like was it 2 years ago? Was it Georgia they played pretty
Last
tough?
season. Yeah.
Yeah, it was last season. Yeah. They played really tough last year.
Yeah, then we go to BYU. I don't think they're that's what I said. Truth. I said right off the bat. Anyways, then we go to BYU. And
At home.
Yeah. This
BYU's
one's
tricky.
interesting.
They're tricky.
This is a tricky game because BYU is another team that will ruin your season.
They will. They're tricky.
Um,
They're coached well. Coached very well.
I think that's a losable game for Arkansas, but I also think that's a game that they could really look at as a way to set the tone. BYU, I really don't know what they replace, right? So I'd have to do a dive into BYU, but that one's a toss-up to me. They're not beating LSU, especially not at LSU. I just don't know what they have defensively to stop what LSU wants to do. Texas A&M, they were terrible in defending the pass last year, and Texas A&M has 2 of the better wide receivers, I think, in the SEC, and Moose Muhammad and
Evan Stewart.
Evan Stewart. Yes, thank you. And then Ole Miss, this one is, I think, is going to be interesting because, like I said, I just don't know what Ole Miss's offense is going to look like, right? I have no idea what that Ole Miss offense is going to look like. But I think this is a game that Arkansas can pull out just because of the way they can control the ball, especially in the run game. And Ole Miss is a little bit all over the place, erratic. Against Alabama, look, you can try and control the ball running, and I think they're
Not gonna happen.
going to.
Not going to happen.
Think the defensive line for Alabama this year, getting a Justin Aboigbe back, who was off to the best season for any defensive lineman for the Crimson Tide last year, that's going to be big for the Tide. And now you have him with Otis. Will Anderson isn't there, but I just think that they're not going to be as concerned about rushing the passer as they are going to be stopping the run. And therefore, the loss of Will Anderson, though felt, won't be as big in the game with Alabama. Mississippi State, I actually have Arkansas winning that.
I do too.
I just think that's the very winnable game. Florida is really interesting because
Arkansas
it's
beats them.
at Florida.
They beat Florida.
It's at Florida. The Swamp. I do agree with you. I do agree that Arkansas wins that game, but I think there's a bit more of a nuanced Truth is after me about that. But I think there's a nuanced conversation to have about this game that I would like to have when we really go through Florida again, right? We already said
Truth is really
Auburn's-
going in. Wow.
He's the best. He's the best. We already said Auburn's losing to Arkansas. Arkansas's beating Florida International and Missouri. Guys, Missouri is a tricky team in the SEC this year. If they have the ability to throw the ball, they could give Arkansas a real tough time. But what is that defense going to do to stop the control? Veteran quarterback, great running back play for the Arkansas Razorbacks leads me to believe Arkansas could get the win there.
How many wins is that?
I gave them.
Look, we had losses to LSU, Alabama.
I gave them losses to LSU, A&M, Alabama, and I think BYU gets them.
So okay, I got
4 losses.
4 losses.
Okay, so 4 losses, 8-4, and the line for them was 7.5. I got a feeling.
So I'm right on line there. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I got a
you're
feeling-
spot on.
I got a feeling they beat BYU.
Me too. At home,
It's
yeah, I think they
BYU or
beat 'em.
Missouri to me. Those are the two games that I'm bouncing back and forth. And I don't know enough about BYU. I just know that they consistently are such a disciplined team. They can ruin your day.
And
It's
Arkansas
the
they always play A&M great, man. They play
yeah.
A&M
They do. They do. I just
good.
like the passing ability A&M could have this year because they don't have a chain to fall back on. They
That is
have to
true.
throw the ball.
They got to throw, but it's at Arkansas too. That's gonna be a
Yes.
hell of an
True.
environment.
These games at Arkansas are the only reason why I could totally agree
No,
with
I'm
at
sorry.
least 8 wins, if not
That was at a
9.
neutral location. That's at Jury's World.
That is at Jerry Circus.
Which
They are
that's-
bringing
that's-
back that
that's
rivalry.
fine.
Yeah, that's at
Yeah, that's
Jury's
fine.
World.
That was
a
last
neutral
year
site
too,
game.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
Yeah.
not
It was
new for
last year, too.
Arkansas.
yeah.
Then
Yeah,
I think
got A&M.
Arkansas
Give
revenge.
A&M.
I think Arkansas gets revenge. I think that Sam
Nice.
Pittman gets them 10 wins this year.
Ooh, come on now. You serious?
I think it's LSU and Alabama are their 2 losses. I think they beat everybody else on this schedule.
I was thinking 9-3. I was thinking that they were going to get hung up at Texas A&M, Alabama, and LSU.
All right, boys. Until next time.
Yeah, man. All
All
right,
right,
man.
Yep. See
Yeah,
ya.
we'll see you, man.
No, I really do believe that I think that it's really the traveling to Baton Rouge and traveling to Tuscaloosa is going to be the biggest problems. I think they can pull the upset at Ole Miss on the road, but the rest of these games, they're winnable for Arkansas if
They
they are
are.
disciplined enough to get past those close losses. Remember, when we was talking about it, the biggest problem they had was that they were losing games at 2 points or less.
That's true.
Like one, and then the LSU game was a 3-point game. Now they did lose a lot, while at the same time they're not done in the portal. They'll probably still have a lot of
gonna stack up.
opportunities to bring in some more veterans or whatnot. They can plug in quickly. I mean, defensive linemen. Do you really need to put them in a scheme? You say, go
No.
get the quarterback.
Get
That's
the
your
guy.
job.
Get 'em.
Go
'em.
get them,
You've
and
been
they'll
doing this your
figure it
whole
out.
life. You've been doing this your whole life, son. You know,
Right.
Um,
Exactly. So
and-
I'm curious to if that's the thing that slows them down in this run. But I really think they can get 10 wins this year. The schedule is set to give them that. They don't see Tennessee. They don't see Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah, they got it. It's very favorable. And you know, one thing I will say, Jay, when I look at this schedule and I look at every team outside of Alabama or LSU, there is some uncertainty in that team. There's uncertainty in Texas A&M offense. What is their offense going to be like? There is uncertainty at Ole Miss. Who's going to be their quarterback? Right? Is that defense headed by Pete Golden? Is it going to be worth a damn? Okay.
right? See, we've got a long list.
Yeah,
For Pittman to redeem
State-
himself.
Mississippi State is not going to have the personnel to run Barbie's offense this year. They're just not. They're built for, the Pirates offense. They're not built for Barbie's offense this year. There's uncertainty there. Florida is all uncertainty. Auburn,
And that's so crazy how
Auburn,
wow,
new
yes.
coach Auburn, right? And they're playing at home as well. And the only other school I'm looking at is Missouri. I think they get Missouri. I think they get Missouri. I don't even think it's going to be too. I'm not going to say too difficult of a task, but I
Right.
think they get Missouri. Yeah,
Agreed.
every team besides LSU and Bama has uncertainty.
Right. That's it. Like when you look at this,
Wow, I
and
didn't-
even BYU has that. If you look at them, I think they had a new quarterback in. They're breaking a whole bunch of stuff. It's that's the thing that I'm asking the question of is who on this schedule that is actually, organized, that's not going through turmoil.
Yeah.
Are they actually going to face that could give them true problems? Kent State's got a new coaching set up because
Yeah.
their guy that's been there 5 years is gone.
That's
You know what
true.
I'm saying? So that's the thing that's crazy. They can win 10 games this year. That is the wildest thing to me. Is that I think it can happen.
No, but it can happen. So we said this about Arkansas in the past. Arkansas is a school that they're not going to be able to recruit with Alabama and LSU and Georgia year round, year out. They just can't do it. They don't have the horses for it. But they're a team that is going to be a good developer of talent, and every third or fourth year, they're going to pop out with a team that's going to win 9 to 11 games.
Agreed.
Every third or fourth year, they're going to have a season where you're going to be like, wow. But don't expect it next year. But this is the year, right? And so
yeah.
I'm kind of with you. I think this might be the year for them. I think this might be a year where they shock some people.
And that's the reason why I picked them, because I started looking at their schedule and I started asking myself, I'm like, do I actually feel any confidence in them losing any of these games besides the two big boys?
Yeah.
I don't have. This could be the redemption season for Sam Pittman because he has to win.
He
He
has to
gotta.
win.
A 10-win season saves his job for at least 4 years.
Yeah, he has his back against the wall. And as much stuff as I talk about KJ, I like KJ as a player, man. I just want to see
Same.
I want to see him go to the next level so bad. I mean, he has it in him. I just want to see him activate it, right? And it's not his fault because he just doesn't have the pieces around him. And that I think if he did have some great pieces around him, we would see the best of KJ Jefferson. I honestly think he's going to test pretty well at the combine. He's not the fastest guy, but he has a strong ass arm. He's a very powerful guy. He's a good runner. He's going to shock some people when he goes to the combine eventually. And he's going to be one of those guys that might have the potential to be a better pro than he was a college player.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. Man, they have a
He
good
can run
schedule.
out there as a what's his name? Oh gosh, offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers just got fired.
Oh, Byron Leftwich.
Darren Leftwich. He could pull up a bet Leftwich for us. He really could. Get a
But you
couple
know what,
of
though?
years.
He's
a
way
solid
more
starter
he's-
backup.
But he's way more mobile than
He
Leftwich
is.
ever was. All right.
Yes, and Leftwich was always hurt. So
And-
exactly.
Yeah. He could
Big
be.
dude.
Yeah, he's a big guy too, and he's
He's
physical.
not a backup
man.
at least. I like it like a Jacoby Brissett, but bigger. He could be something that could last in the NFL. So yeah, that's definitely a great conversation.
He has
to
Big
have.
Ben size. 'Cause he
Yes,
has Big
they're
Ben
just much
size.
better. Yes, yes.
But Big Ben didn't run the way that he did.
True.
But I like what you said about like a Jacoby Brissett. I like that kind of comp for him. A guy that it might come in and start 5-6 years in the league, 7-8 years in the league.
Get you a couple games here or there as
yeah.
needed, as an in between. You know, he'll be consistent. I mean, if you can get yourself a Chase Daniels career, you've done great.
Yeah.
Now I know everybody wants to be the league star.
No.
If you can get a Chase Daniels career where you only get hit like once every 2 seasons, but you
You're
get
good.
paid as a backup
paid.
quarterback, you're good.
Yeah. Man.
Sign me
I-
up tomorrow.
You know, though, I like that. I like that comp. You know, yeah, that's a good comp, man. Ben Roethlisberger size with Jacoby Brissett talent, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I could see it.
And that's not a bad combo. That's
all.
not a bad combo. All right, man. Are you good? You want to do one more?
You know what? Let's save it for the group. I like the
yeah.
big group as we argue through these. These are fun. This is going to be fun doing this for the next couple weeks.
It is,
We
man.
get 3 teams. We're going to pick 3 teams. We'll
Yeah.
come in, talk right through them because this is fun trying to figure this out. But this one right here, I knew
This
that
is a
you
good one.
and Ty would look at it and be like, "Dang, you got a point. They could really do it. That's
Yeah.
10 wins, baby."
Definitely. They can do some damage. One of the topic I want to talk about, man, Georgia. The rich get richer. And the poor don't get a damn thing. Dylan Raiola, man. The number 1 prospect in the country for his class and the number 1 quarterback in his class, of course, going to Georgia. You know, like decommitting from Ohio State, now going to Georgia. What are your thoughts on that, man?
So I'm gonna keep it a buck, and I'm just being 100% honest. I don't think it means anything.
Yeah.
And this is why I say that. We've seen Georgia get what 4 5-star quarterbacks,
Yeah.
5 5-star quarterbacks,
we
and
went to
none
lesser.
of them started or lasted long. From Justin Fields, JT Daniels, Brock Vandagriff was a 5-star quarterback coming in.
He was.
Ain't seeing him nowhere.
Yeah.
That's not something that Georgia does well with. And until you prove me under Kirby Smart differently, I don't see this. Even as good as
doubt.
Dylan Areoli is, I can't see this moves the needle for them. Their defense is going to be dominant regardless.
Yeah.
As long as you got a quarterback that's competent enough to not make
Screw
a
it
lot of
up.
mistakes,
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine. But I don't think that Dylan goes out there and has a Bryce Young type season or career or CJ Stroud career. I can see him being good, but I mean, they
You know
had
what's
Justin
crazy?
Fields right there, and it just did. How does it not work out?
I'm gonna tell you what's crazy about that, man, is Dylan can ball, man. And that's the crazy. He has a high floor and an extremely high ceiling. And it's almost like as a quarterback prospect, did you make the right decision? All right.
Right.
'cause
And
as a quarter-
Easton.
yeah,
Jacob
yeah,
Eason was a 5-star quarterback. That's what I'm saying. They had like 4 or
Yeah.
5-star quarterbacks go through that system that did not last
yeah.
for some weird reason.
As a quarterback prospect, I want to go get coached by a quarterback guru. Ryan Day, I thought was the perfect fit for him. Ohio State's been churning out
Yes.
first round draft pick quarterbacks. Them and Lincoln Riley have been churning out first round draft pick quarterbacks. What
At big
every
schools.
year? I mean, like
Yeah, they're the
at
only
big
ones
schools.
at big schools to do it.
Yeah,
All
you-
the small schools can find because it's the evaluation of the quarterback that what hurts these quarterbacks at these big schools is that the talent around you is so much more superior than everybody else. You don't know if it's the quarterback doing it or if the receivers are adjusting for the quarterback.
Yeah.
You can make mistakes and no one would notice it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what hurts their evaluation. And then that's when you see players like Anthony Richardson get looked at so heavily, and everybody's like, dude, he sucked in college. It's like, well, no, he's got all the tools to do things right.
he didn't have the.
They just
guru
need
with
somebody
him.
to guide them.
Yeah,
Right.
You know, could you
You can
imagine
mold him.
Anthony Richardson with Lincoln Riley?
Oh my God. He would have won the Heisman. Caleb Williams, who?
You know what? I mean, so think about this for a minute. Look at Ryan Day's resume when it comes to quarterbacks, right?
Lately, he has been doing it. Lately, he has. And they've done a good job of having quarterbacks that can really read the field.
Yeah, Haskins and Fields, Stroud, right? Look at Lincoln Riley, Baker, Kyler, Caleb.
Hurts.
Hurts. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Hurts doesn't get drafted in the second round if he doesn't have the Lincoln Riley boot camp for a year. Doesn't happen.
Exactly. That 4,000 yards made a difference for them to see,
Doesn't-
oh, no,
he can pass.
can throw the ball.
Doesn't happen without the Lincoln Riley boot camp.
Right. Because this was the old a lot of I've told this to a few people that talk about him being at Alabama and everything. I'm like, you got to remember the era of Jalen Hurts at Alabama was when they was heavy on the run. That's the Derrick Henry, post Derrick Henry season,
Yeah.
and the Mark Ingram era of no, we're just gonna run down your throat. We're just gonna out muscle you every
that
game.
was-
And
he
AJ
came
McCarron to
in-
do enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he
And
just
so-
did enough. Jalen came in. Who was this running back? Was it Yeldon? He had Yeldon.
Yeah.
But-
Yeldon and Bo Scarborough.
Bo Scarborough. I mean, but Yeldon was a great back in college. I mean, look, he's still getting a check in the league right now. He's playing for
Right.
the Dolphins now. Yeah, so
Yep. And Bo is back and forth. I've seen him a couple of times in and out. So
Bo is from Greene County, Alabama. Played ball, I think, in
loved
Utah
him.
High, if I'm not mistaken, for a while before going to IMG. Well, actually, before going to Tuscaloosa and then going to IMG. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No. He went from Greene County up to Tuscaloosa, played ball up there. He's a man amongst boys in high school, man. I'm just a man amongst boys. He was like Derrick Henry 2.0. I mean, easily.
right. Your
Yeah.
Trent Richardson's,
Yeah.
that was the era of that. So where quarterback wasn't, and that's when he brought in Lane to try to rejuvenate it, make it different. And
Yeah.
then Sarkisian came in to keep that party going because they're the same dude for
Yeah,
the
they're
most
the
part.
same
Outside
dude.
of one doesn't go out and party nonstop.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, it's the USC connection. It's all
Yeah,
the
USC
guys, the Pete Carroll tree. That
Yep.
was basically what he pulled in.
Exactly.
So it
The
made
Pete Carroll tree.
sense. Right. So looking at that was the one thing that what is Georgia going to do with this quarterback, especially with the new OC? Is
Yeah.
the new OC going to be able to do something different than Macon did there at Georgia and actually make it work with the 5-star quarterback?
Yeah. Now, one thing I do like what Georgia did, I'm with you on that for the quarterback position. They just need Georgia right now reminds me of Alabama when they first started winning championships. Give me somebody competent. They're a very simple team. When you look at their team and just break down their team, offensive and defensive wise, they're very sound, but they're exotic too as well. But as far as from the offense side of the ball, very simple team. And they can afford to be simple because their defense is so great. Reminds me of the Bama teams from 2010 to 2015, or where it was just defense heavy, run the ball like crazy. Which brings me up to my next thing about Georgia. They went and got one of your boys from Tennessee, man. They got one of your boys from Tennessee, Lyneth Whitehead, who came in as a linebacker in high school, one of the top inside linebackers in the country at 6'1", 6'2", 230 pounds. Tennessee swaps him over to running back. And, he had about 250, 300 yards as a running back last year, but he's a guy that doesn't mind contact, right? Doesn't mind contact at all. And Georgia comes and gets him in the transfer portal. I think he's going to play a lot this year. And so, yeah.
Yeah, at that size, I mean, 6'2", 220, probably gonna be closer to 230 getting there. Yeah, man.
Behind the Georgia
I
offensive line too.
God, he's gonna do some things. He's going home because that's where he's from.
Yeah, he's from there. Yep. I know. So
he gets to play in front of his family. So I'm not gonna even. It does hurt though.
It does hurt.
It hurts.
It does hurt. Because honestly, at Tennessee, he was found money at running back. He's found money.
It really was. It's kind of like us getting Alvin Kamara from Alabama.
Yeah, that's true.
It's found money. He's like, oh wait,
it's found money.
He's not gonna make the roster. Sure, come on.
Now he's just one of the best backs in the league.
Right, but I think Brandon Skeeter, him coming in and working. If I'm correct, he's gonna work at as like an analyst. I think he'll be. I think the offense should be better, but at the same time, I'm still curious to what they look like if they can still churn it out with these 5-star quarterbacks. I mean, like I said, had like 4 or 5 of them come through, and we have not seen one of them shape up to anything. Hell, I'm waiting for Brock Vandegrift to go ahead and just transfer, which I don't understand why he hasn't.
Yeah, but where would he go?
Keep lying to himself.
Where's he gonna go? It's so late now. I thought he would have transferred after the season last year, but the competition was open, right? I mean, it was what it was, but I don't know, man. I just don't know. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Why are you sitting there behind all of this, knowing you're not going to start?
He mismanaged Jordan Fields. I mean, not Jordan,
Justin Fields.
Yeah, mismanaged that.
Jacob Eason left because of Stetson Bennett and Justin Fields.
Yep.
Who was the quarterback before Eason?
Fromm. He had no.
Yeah, Jake Fromm.
Jake
from State Fromm. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Fromm was the reason why
Eason left. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and Fields.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah. So think about it. So the guy, he's from right down the street down there in Warner Robins, Georgia. But Justin Fields he was a better player in high school. He's a better player in college. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. And I don't even think
was a 4-star quarterback.
No. Was he a 4-star? I thought he was a 5-star.
He was a 4-star. Fromm was a 4-star.
Yeah.
Jake Fromm was the 4-star that kicked out the 5-star Eason, who was the number 4 player in the country at the time. Then Justin Fields, who goes to Ohio State and does good things there. And then Stetson Bennett.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Bennett.
Crazy.
Who's okay? Let's take this into account by Stetson Bennett too. This man's been in college 7 years and don't got a degree yet.
Ain't got a degree yet. Man. That dude is a professional student. Pro kicking. He got a degree in kicking it. If that don't concern you, I mean that's a concern. Because hell, Jalen Hurts just got his master's from Oklahoma. Literally, last weekend.
It was last week.
So he's got 2 degrees.
And this guy's he's older than Jackson, isn't he? He's older than Lamar Jackson.
He's older than Hendon Hooker, and Hendon Hooker is the oldest dude, one of the oldest dudes going in the league at 25 years old. And Hendon Hooker probably has 2 degrees now.
Yeah.
So wow, he left Georgia, he walked on, went to JUCO for a couple years, and then came back as another walk-on. It's like,
yeah. Bennett has a double doctorate in partying. Exactly. I don't think Bennett's worried. I'm gonna tell you, man.
He ain't. He's a legend. He's gonna have Bennett Chevrolet just owning it in Georgia soon.
And plus both his parents like pharmacists or something, right? It's something crazy. Yeah, he's
just absurd.
And he's getting an NFL check now. And he's getting an NFL check. What was he, 4th round pick this year? Was it 4th or 5th round?
I think he's like 4th or 5th. Yeah, somebody's got to give him a chance.
He's with the Chargers. He's a Chargers backup.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Yep. 4th round, 128th pick. He's behind Justin Herbert. He's not gonna supplant him.
He's in the perfect.
I think he's older than Justin Herbert.
He is in the Chase Daniel situation. He's never gonna play, but he's mature enough to be in the room. Well, I don't know if he's mature enough, but he's old enough and wise enough to be in the room. and understand that my position is I'm going to hold this clipboard and make a lot of money in my career. Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett is older than Justin Herbert by 6 months. Justin Herbert was born March 10th of 98. Bennett was born October of 97. Bro.
Justin Herbert about to sign his second contract.
Yes. You're like, my boy. Like, I mean, I get that you're older. You're supposed to be my senior. Bro,
Let me show you how to get
I'm about
this
to sign
done.
another. I've been in the league 4 years.
$200 million contract here.
Oh my God.
I'll take you out to
Oh
dinner.
my God.
I'll take you
You
out
got
to
the
dinner.
major Applewhite piece, man. Like, how long did I have Applewhite in Texas? It felt like 10 years. He's like the only quarterback I remember that felt like was there forever for some way.
He broke like every freaking record in the Big 12. And they're like, yeah, he's been in there like 90 years. But yeah.
Who is it? A quarterback at gosh, the gadget guy at the Saints. What's his name? Played at BYU.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill, because Taysom Hill, I think he came to the
He
league
was
at
in
like
college 9
26.
years, wasn't he?
Yes.
I just remember him jumping over Dylan Haynes in the game, man. Come on. Taysom Hill was like
Yes. He's had like
beast.
Yes.
he was
Just
a beast.
yeah. Oh man, that's funny. That's a good laugh.
Yeah, it's a real good laugh. All right, man. Well, look, man, we had an hour and 10 minutes, man. Next week, guys, we are going to break down 3 teams. Florida, we're going to deep dive into Florida. That's going to be one. Let's go ahead and kind of decide right now, man.
You know what? Let me go ahead and see on these numbers.
Matter of fact, let me
pick Florida as a group. Who do you got? You give me one that you want, and I'll pick another, and we'll make that our team, our ones.
I'm gonna go. Hold on. How about this? Let me share this so everybody can see what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
There we go. Well,
Perfect.
right there.
Kinda. Yeah.
Bam, right there. Better. All right. I say Florida. Florida for sure. I want to see just the damn demise of Florida. And see why it is the demise of Florida.
Right.
So
I feel.
will Florida be bowl eligible? Will they get 5 wins or 6 wins? I think I remember the last time we did this 2 weeks ago. I think we had Florida going like 4-8.
Ooh, sheesh. Okay, we're gonna dive into this since now we have Vegas numbers.
James said Kentucky. That's not a bad one. I like Kentucky. Kentucky.
I got it.
Yeah. I like them. They got a new transfer quarterback too, right? Didn't they get the guy from what's the NC State? I forgot. Anyways, we'll deep dive.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And so they've been doing a really good job of rehabbing quarterbacks lately. So yeah, so Kentucky. You know what's really intriguing me right now?
Uh-oh, who's got you?
That South Carolina at 6.5. I think that's low.
All right. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do South Carolina, Kentucky,
and Florida. I think that South Carolina is low. I'm just I haven't seen their schedule yet, but after what I saw Spencer do last year, I thought Spencer was coming into his own. I would think that number would at least be like 8.5.
Yeah, Devin Leary. They brought in Devin Leary from former quarterback from NC State. So yeah, they've basically replaced Will Levis. They've got themselves another starting quarterback, basically. So
yeah, so there we go. South Carolina, Kentucky, Florida. And I'm gonna text this out to our group that this is who we're doing next week.
Perfect.
Man. Well, folks, thank you for tuning in, man. Me and Jay are gonna get off of here. It's already like 9:25, and it's time to watch some NBA playoffs. You know
Heck yeah, and I see that the Miami Heat are doing some damage right now, so it's definitely something to jump on.
Ooh, okay.
Something.
I did. All right, bro. I'll see you, man.
We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Deuces.